my channel. I'm Kassiah and this is SiahSwag and I have a tutorial today. I'm so happy about it. I finally was able to sew up the Rowena by Knotted Threads Co. It's gorgeous. She is not perfect. This was my first round with this bag. This vinyl seems to be very sensitive to stitches. So my stitches are popping in a couple of places and I don't think it's the design of the bag or anything to do with that. It's just my vinyl. That's it. Other than that, this bag, I am in love. I'm in love. So there's two different versions that she offers with this bag. There's the simplified version or the one with all the pockets. I show you how to do the one with all the pockets. I think I'm going to do a live showing the simplified version just because it's such a fun design of a bag. I haven't attached my handles because I think I'm going to redo them with gray thread. I did them originally with black and this is gray and it doesn't match and it bugs me. So I just clipped them on there so you can see the look. So let's do a little tour of this Rowena real quick. She is just so pretty. I put purse feet on her. There are snap closures, so magnetic snap closures for these sides. So they both open up. And the way she has this interfaced, top notch. Follow all of her interfacing suggestions. They are super helpful. The one thing I didn't get quite right in this video was lining up my stitching on these two sides. I didn't quite get that right, but I get it better now. So I think the second time around, I'd be able to match that up. Okay, so you have these two side pockets here, right? So those are big, huge pockets there. And then the middle opens up to the inside of your bag. You have a slip pocket here. And then you could put another zipper pocket, but man, I mean, you've got all the pockets already, so you don't really need that. It's nice, it's big, it's roomy, but not like a huge tote size. It is definitely a handbag size. Oh, I just love it, guys. It is very cute. It's very cute. This is not a beginner bag. I would say experienced beginner to intermediate, just because of all the little details on it that you need to pay attention to. As I always say, go slow, you can do anything. But I love it. Interfaced with the Decaville Light, foam on the base. There's some woven on the side panels, and it's all vinyl exterior, canvas and bonded nylon inside. I'll try and link all the shops that I got materials from, and all the hardware is from my website. So guys, I hope you enjoy making this bag. One of the cool things about it, it's got these hidden connectors here. They are connected into the bag like a hidden D-ring. We've done those before. And so these are hidden connectors, super cool, totally worth sitting down and learning. I loved her process of installing that. I thought it was just excellent. She's such a good designer. She thinks of everything. Good job, Shannon. This is an amazing bag. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I need to say. Thank you to my 14-month Threadhead Patreon member, April Whaley. I appreciate all your love and support over there on Patreon. It means a lot. We do lots of fun stuff over there. We're doing a pencil pouch swap this month. You can go join for $1 and join us. Should be fun. But thank you for everybody's support on my channel. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope you enjoy this tutorial that I have put together for the Rowena. Let's start sewing. Okay, let's go over our pieces for the Rowena. I have quite a bit prepped already. There's lots of different markings you need to do, some interfacing placement. So I'll show you the front and back of each piece so you can see kind of how I prepped it. And we'll go from there. Okay, so the first one is the upper lining piece for the bag. you have some markings that you have to do. Your interfacing has to be placed in a certain position, so make sure you pay attention to that. I have 2 of these of my exterior pieces, okay? I have my side panels, okay? So you have 2 side panel pieces. Now they have kind of a different interfacing. I've got Decaville down here and a strip of Decaville up here. I've got my markings. I've got my placement for my snaps. I did a layer of woven over the Decaville, which is, I think, what was suggested in the pattern. So we'll see how that works. And I have my centers marked. So I just did a lot of prep work so the sewing part of this bag could go smoothly. I have my zipper plackets, yeah. So you have 2 exterior zipper placket pieces, but the interfacing, pay attention to how the interfacing goes on. It just goes on this little piece here because this is going to be folded over and made one whole side of it. So be sure you pay attention to that. And I have 2 of those. My base piece I already prepped. I did purse feet. I did a layer of Decaville Heavy out of my seam allowances, and then I also did a layer of foam because I really like the way those 2 pieces make the bottom of my bags look, so I usually double up on that. And then I did a top stitch around that to keep that foam down, and I really like it. Feels really good and sturdy. I like it. I have 2 main panel pieces. Okay, and I already have my markings for my handles. On the back, she has you do extra interfacing where those handles are going to go. They're going to be hidden connectors. And then the marking here for the handle assembly, and then my Decaville light all around the outside. I have 2 of those. My zipper pocket linings, I'm doing the full version of the Rowena, not the simplified. So I will be having those 2 pockets, and I have prepped those by folding down my corners like she says to do in the pattern. Those are all prepped and ready to go. I have 4 of those. I have my lining base piece, nothing fancy about that. I have my slip pocket. Which one is this? Yep, my slip pocket piece lining. And then for this one, this will be your lower lining. One is a full piece like this, and the other one has the cutout along the top. So make sure you have one of each of that. And I think that's all my pieces. I do have the extra pieces. The handles I've already prepped. Okay, I've got 2 handles. I've got my strap connectors, and those are all prepped and ready to go. I have them folded in. I have tape along them like she suggests in the pattern. So those are all ready to be put on the bag. There's 4 of those total. I have 4 zipper tabs and 2 of these connectors. I think these are for crossbody strap, I believe, if I want to do that. I haven't decided yet. And those are prepped. And that is it. I have zipper tape. I have all my hardware here ready to go. I will be putting some strap ends on these handles because I really like the look of that. When you do kind of a nice higher end bag, those just take it up even a notch more. And I think that's it. I think we're ready to start sewing. Okay, let's get this started. Okay, so we are going to start with the handle connectors. I have my markings already on here for where I need to cut. So if you've ever done a hidden D-ring connector, this is pretty similar to what that is. Don't let this scare you. It is not hard. So you want to take a blade tool of some kind and cut from one side of this line to the end. Don't cut outside of that line. If anything, err on the side of being a little bit shorter than the line. Okay, so there's one. And there's my other one. Okay. Make sure my blade cut all the way through. Okay, so I've got my 2 cuts. I want to take my connector pieces here. And you want them, so I'm turning this, flipping this around. I want to slip them in this way. So my folded edge is on top here. And I want to slip them down in here. I may have to cut this just a little bigger. I don't know. Let's get this in there and see. You don't want it to be loose. You want it to be a little bit snug. I think that's good. All right. Okay, so I want to line this up. This is what this line is for. That's where that is going to line up. I want to pull it out just a touch. Okay, so I'm going to take my double-sided tape off of this end and I'm going to place that right along that line there. So when you're looking at it this way, this should be the back side of your strap. I'm going to repeat right here. Make sure this is cut. All right, so I'm going to do the same thing here. And I want to line it up on that line right there. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at right now. I'm going to turn this over and make a couple markings. Okay, so below these cut lines, I am going to make a marking. I'm not going to repeat all the measurements on the video because you do need to, oops, that was a little too high. You do need to have the pattern to look at all the measurements on here, but I've got my 2 markings there. So I'm going to do the same thing over here. And these are pretty much my guidelines for my stitching that I'm going to do, okay? So now I'm going to stitch a box connecting these 2 lines. And I want to stay inside of my handle, okay? I don't want to go wider than my handle when I do these stitchings. I'm going to stay right inside my handle, and I am going to stitch a box around that. All right, so here we go. So it doesn't have to look super pretty. It's just important that you stayed inside of your handle lines, okay? I'm showing the wrong camera. All right, so that's what that looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and she suggests doing another box inside of that box. And this is just really reinforcing your connectors. So, you know, all the weight of the bag can be put on them and they will stay. Okay, so that's what the back of it looks like. And that's what the front of it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and repeat on the other side. And now I'm just going to go again. I'm just starting there and going again. All right. Ta-da! Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and do my other panel as well and get that sewn on just like we did. And did I already cut these? I already cut them. Okay, so here we go. Repeat. Okay, we have all 4 of those sewn. We want to now slide on our rectangle hardware. Okay, so I've got my little rectangle slid on there. I have my ruler. She has the placement for it. Mine's a little bit off, but I think that's okay. Mine's just a little to the side. As long as it's straight. We're using this to make sure when we bring this down that we're doing it nice and straight. So the connector goes right at those top stitches there, and you're gonna bring it down and line it up along your ruler so it's nice and straight, okay? That's pretty. Okay, so do the same thing along the other side here. Okay, looks good. Just a minute. I think it's pulling it down just a little bit too much. Right there. Beautiful. Okay, so there's my 2 connectors. You want to make a marking with some kind of erasable pen, and this will be our turning point for our stitching here. All right, here we go. So I want to go up and over and back down. Make sure you lengthen to a top stitch here, and we're going to sew these on. All right, I'm going to make sure I put something behind here to protect my vinyl from my walking foot. All right, so that's what it should look like. I'll erase that pen stuff, but I just went up and over. Okay, I'm going to repeat for the next one here. And there is, you know, a little extra wiggle room here at the bottom. I've got a little bit of overhang in case you have thicker hardware. That's what that's intended for. But that's what that should look like. I'm going to go ahead and repeat with my other panel. Okay, so I did a couple things off camera. I just installed some rivets right above that stitch line and below the rectangle hardware to give it some extra reinforcement. And then I did the placement she suggests in the pattern for my name tag right here, or any kind of cute little handmade tag. I'm sure it would look good up here too. Wherever you wanted to place it is awesome. So I've got that done. I'm going to set those two panels aside. I am now going to work on installing my magnetic snaps because these sides are going to like fold in when the bag is done. So I already have all of my reinforcement on this piece that she recommends in the pattern. I have my placement for my snaps. I'm using 18mm snaps right here. So you should have 2 sets, okay, of both female and male. Make sure you're putting one of each on each side and not the same one. So there's my marking. So all I need to do is take my washer and I'm going to place it on that marking that I already have there. I just transferred it from the pattern piece. And I'm going to draw my cut lines from my washer. Super easy. Magnets are easy. Okay, and that will be my cut lines for that. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Take my washer. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, now I just want to make those little cuts. And then I want to make sure I'm doing one male here. Push that through. Okay, put on the washer. And then I like to push my prongs in. I think it's personal choice. I think in the pattern she suggests pushing them in as well. She also suggests hitting them with a little hammer. I don't think I am going to, but I am going to definitely cover it up. You could use duct tape. I have some of this self-adhesive woven. That works great for covering prongs. So I'm just going to cover that up. Just like that. Easy. All right, so make sure you're doing the other side to the magnet, not the same. And then put that on the other markings that we did here. Just like that with a washer. Okay, and then I have a piece here, cover that up. Again, duct tape works great as well. I just had this on hand, so. All right, there's that, there's that. Make sure you did the right sides. Joop, I did. Looks good. I'm gonna repeat for this other panel, same steps. All right, we're gonna work on our slip pocket. So you should have 2 pieces here with that cutout. All right, we're gonna take this one right sides together along that top cutout here. And that's where we're gonna be sewing. So I'm gonna put some clips along that. My material's a little bit slippery because I'm using the bonded nylon. So I'm putting quite a few clips. If I was using just like regular canvas or something, it probably wouldn't slip like it does with this. So just just keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and sew along here at my seam allowance. I'll trim with my pinking shears, and then we'll flip the right side out and top stitch. And again, because of the materials I'm using, I'm going to use some clips. If you were using cotton, you could probably give it a nice fold along this stitch here, and it would stay with a press. But this one, I kind of have to work it out here. And that is okay, because I really like this material. Okay, so now I'm just going to give that a good top stitch. So we're going to do a couple things. This pocket is going to be cut open to pull some of our bag through. So we need to do a couple markings on this. So what we want to do is I'm going to just pin this to the top first. This bottom comes all the way up to the top here. Just like that. And she suggests just cutting this along the fold just an inch each way to start. So I'm just going to do my initial, I'm not going to cut it all the way across. Okay, I'm just giving it a tiny little cut there on both sides. Well, this one is, I can't get my fingernail under there. Anyways, okay. And then this top part, you want to sew it at an angle to close up these sides. All right, so I am going to, well, she has you doing it this way. And we got a couple markings here. Like that, I think. So I think what we're doing is sewing, oh yeah, you want to start all the way up here by where it is here, and we're going to sew it down to this line right here. So you're going to take it at an angle right there. Okay, that's going to be our stitch line, connecting the edge of this with that marking there. Okay. All right, there. And that's how you want to sew up the sides. So I'm going to sew up my sides first, and then we'll finish cutting the bottom open. And I'll show you a little bit closer how I did that. And it's not wanting to lay, I want it to lay flat. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to move the camera in here a little bit more so you guys can see this. All right, so I'm going to start up here close to this edge, and I'm going to sew it down to that marking. Which is our seam allowance right there, and then I'm going to take it the rest of the way down. Right? The rest of the way? Yes. So it's just got that little angle. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And then I'm supposed to mark a line up. How far up? Okay. You want to mark a line up from the bottom of your pocket here. Okay. All right, so we want to fully cut this bottom open now. Down along here, so just take your scissors in there, and we're going to fully cut this open. And then we want to take a little notch, I guess, right here, where that marking is at the bottom of it. This is interesting how she does this. I've never done it this way. I love trying new things. It's my favorite. So let's see what this does. And the way she folds it at the bottom, because we need to leave this open for a turn pocket. And then she has you, fold this. Interesting. And then this these seams flatten here. And you fold this up. I don't know how well this will work with the material that I'm using, but we'll try it. The idea is it's folded up nice and neat along where you snipped right there. Yeah, it kind of works. My material's super slippery, so it's a little bit different. But I totally get what she's trying to do here. That's really cool. So now it's nice and neat and folded. Do you see how it's angled down there? That's cool. Okay, so that is my slip pocket all done. Front, back. Well, let's move on. All right, moving on. We're gonna work on a couple other pieces. We're gonna do the recessed zipper. So I'm just going to do that 90-degree turn on it real quick. Just gonna punch. I'm gonna pinch and fold. And then I'll do the same on the other side, and I will just give that a little basting stitch to hold that in place. Just like that, okay? We've done this many times. Some people don't even use stitches anymore to hold it in place. They melt the edge of the zipper tape in place. You can totally do that. That never fully works for me, so I just go old school, y'all. All right. Now the way she does this panel, this zipper panel closure, is totally new and different to me. So yeah, so it'll be interesting to try this out. All right, so we have our panels here. We need a couple pieces of tape, it looks like. Where's my skinny roll? There we go. Looks like we need to place a couple pieces right along here on both ends. Again, all these markings are done beforehand. She's got all the measurements for all of these markings, so. All right, I'm using 1/8 inch double-sided tape there. And I'll repeat for this other side. Okay, so after we do that, we need to mark our centers as well. Looks like. And then fold down these edges to that line. And then what she does is she trims these little corners right here. Whoops. She trims these little corners so they don't stick out. So we're going to do that too. Because Shannon is very smart and there's always a reason for the things that she tells you to do, I have learned. So just do it. All right, so there's one. Let's do the other side. Beautiful. All right, now we want to put, does it matter, between the middle marking and the folded edge on the stabilized side. Okay, we want to put some skinny tape going up to that center marking there on both pieces on the stabilized side. Beautiful. All right, so this is what we're looking at so far, okay? All right, so now I want to take this And I'm gonna put it along this edge here, face right side down, right sides together, the edge of that lining up with that center marking, or just below the center marking. Okay, just below the center marking here. And we're just putting that on all the way down, okay? Right sides together. Okay. And then I want to take this and fold it up to meet the other side. Just like that. That's cool. You could put another piece of tape along here if you wanted to hold that in place. Okay, so now I'm going to sew from this end to this end. All right, she likes to kind of cut away a little of this right here. I don't know if I can. Because you're turning this out. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I forgot to burn. I forgot to melt after I cut my zipper tape there. Okay. And this. Can we cut it? It's stuck with tape now. Yeah, that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so we want to turn this right side out. Huh, that's cool. All right. And you kind of just want to make sure this is nice and pulled out there. Looks good. Okay. That's cool. And then that's one side of your zipper panel. And we want to top stitch all the way around that. That's really cool, guys. Okay, let's top stitch. I think I'm going to start right here. And then you want to top stitch the raw edge as well, or just baste it shut, I mean. Okay, very cool. So that's what one side of my zipper panel looks like. And now I repeat for the other side here. Okay, here we go, same steps. So now we're lining it up this way. Oh, let me melt this. You should line up pretty evenly here. Mine's just a tiny bit off. I think we're good. Okay. And then I think I want to do another piece of tape. I didn't do that on the last one. I'm going to do it on this one. Just so it stays put with these layers. Okay. There it is. Cool. If you want, you can separate that. Okay, I'm going to sew along that now. And trim that away if you can. All right, and then we're going to top stitch. All right, there's my zipper panel. I can put my pole on real quick. Let's put my... Beautiful. Okay. This next part is optional. This is for if you wanted to have a crossbody strap with it, and I always love a crossbody strap, so I'm going to do it. These are my top upper lining pieces, and they are nice and interfaced on the back because of this reason. Okay, so I have my markings. They're in the pattern. Read the pattern. Put your markings on the same side of the two, because it's going to be, when this bag is all done and they're flipped on your lining, they will be opposite of each other. Okay, so but for while we're doing it, they're on the same side. We are installing these D-ring connectors just like we did our handle connectors. Okay, so I've got my line there. I'm cutting from edge to edge. We're going to slip our little piece in. Here's our little piece all prepped and ready to go. You want to do it so the wrong side is facing up, okay? And you want it to be nice and snug in there. And then you're lining this piece with the interfacing, with the bottom line of this interfacing. That's your guideline, okay? So right there, that's where I'm sticking it, right? Yes, right. Okay, that's what we're looking at. Then you're going to be doing the same type of thing we did last time, where you sew a box around it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this one in as well. Remember, make sure your connector is wrong side up when you're looking at the right side of your panel, okay? All right, I'm going to take that off and place it right there. And then what's my markings? Same markings as before. So we're just going to do that. Let me do it on this side here. So I need my other pen. So same process as our connectors, guys. Same idea. All right, now I'm going to sew my little box. You can do 2 boxes around these, and then we'll install the D-rings, okay? Remember to stay within your connector. And then I'm going to do another little box inside of that box. Just gives you a nice, good reinforcement. Okay, same thing with this one. I went a little too far over for that one. I'll have to go back in. The nice thing about this part is it doesn't really have to be pretty or perfect because it's not gonna show. All right. So what you're gonna do is put your D-ring on. I'm gonna take this tape off, fold it on down. Let me get that marking off there. Beautiful, just like that. Okay, same thing with this side. I feel like that's pulling too much. Just a minute. I just don't want it pulling too much. Okay, so now you just want to come up and sew another little rectangle. Here's your guideline there for turning around. All right, here we go. Easy. Okay, next one. And then we can put together these pieces with the lining. All right, D-rings installed. Let's get our lining pieces and attach them. Okay, so we've got our lining pieces here. One has that slip pocket on it. The other one doesn't. I want the back of my bag to have this, so I've got my zipper panel here. Centers are all marked on all my pieces. And actually, how do I want to do that? Sorry, just a minute. How does she do this? Yeah, right side up. So I want to start. Okay, so this is the back of my bag. I want my zipper panel to go like this. I'm going to take it apart and just work with one side at a time. So here's my centers. I'm going to baste this side on first. My lining. And then I'll add that top panel that we just worked on. And I don't know if it matters which is which on this one. I don't think it is. So I'm going to line up my centers here and sandwich that in the middle. And I'm going to sew that at my full seam allowance. Just a minute. That went a little wonky right there. There we go. Beautiful. And then I believe we want to flip it up and top stitch along the bottom lining with our seam allowance going up. Let me double check. Stitch. We're lining this down. Seam allowance. Yep. Just like this. Okay. So we're sewing through that seam allowance along the bottom part of the lining. Okay. We're sewing along the lining there. Just kind of hold it all down. You've got some bulk right here where your slip pocket is. So just be aware of that bulk. I think I might need a little help getting over it coming back this way. So get a scrap piece of something to lift your foot up over that seam. Oh, no, I'm doing okay. I did okay. All right. So that's what the first side looks like. I've got the little zipper panel in the middle. Okay, now I want to do the same thing for the other side of the lining. So zipper panel laying right side up. So when they're together, the folded edges should be on the same side. Okay, I'm going to baste that on first. and then add the top piece. I didn't hold my threads and my bobbin got sucked in. Try that again. Okay, get those centers lined up. And we'll sew that on at our full seam allowance. Just like the other side. All right, and then after that, if you did those crossbody straps, you can go ahead and we can put some rivets, just like we did with the connectors right above that stitch line on both sides. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that right above my stitch line on both sides, and then we'll go to the next step. So we're gonna prep our zipper tape and tabs for our side pockets. So I have my zipper tape cut at the exact length that she suggests in there. I've prepped all of my tags, how she tells you to do it in there. So it looks like this when it's all done. And I'm doing vinyl. It's different for cotton for woven material. So this is vinyl. All right. And then I have them all cut like that. So how we're going to put this on is I'm going to take the tape off of the bottom straight side here. I'm going to line up the edge of that zipper tape right side down to the back of that zipper tab there. Okay, along that line. And then I'm going to take this edge here. So that should, when you turn it over, that straight edge should be on the right side of your zipper tape. And I'm going to take this edge here and fold it so it lines up. So those two line up together, okay? Oh, I cut myself. And then I tape it down. Okay, so that's the back, that's the front. I'm gonna top stitch along that, and that should catch both layers when I do that. Make sure your zipper pulls are on before you do your tabs. Zipper pull check. There, and I caught it along the back there. So we're good. So repeat that for all the ends of your zippers. And then she gives you the measurement for how long it's supposed to be after the tabs are on. So make sure, and mine are good. So make sure that you are on point with that as well after you attach these. Okay, so there's one. Okay, so those are my two zippers. They're the same length. We are good. On to the next. We have a couple more things we need to do with these zippers. We have to do a mark on each side a little bit in. And we're going to angle these zipper tabs. Right, like that, and then like that. Whoops. I was doing it too big, you guys. I think I did it too big on this one. Yep. And then you're just going to clip from that marking down to the end right there at an angle. Right? Yep. So you just have this slight angle when you're all done on these zippers. Just like that. Got a pen on mine. Okay, so now we want to just take some 1/8 inch double-sided tape. We're going to place it along each right side edge of these zippers. So I'm going to just do my front panel first because it's easier for me to orientate myself to where I'm at. So I have my center clipped here. I want my zippers opening from left to right, all of them. So this is where you kind of have to pay attention to how your zippers are going to lay. So here is my first zipper. All right, and I do have my centers marked right there. I can't see it anymore because my tape is over it. But there it is. There she is. All right, so I want to put that center with my other center there, and I'm just going to tape that down. And we are going to do a little bit of a baste. I think I'm going to switch out and try my skinny foot for this because she says it's important to try and get a bigger seam allowance along this zipper, but just to baste, I'm going to use this foot. Okay, so we're just going to baste along that zipper. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and switch out my zipper foot real quick, and then we'll continue. Okay, I changed out to a skinny foot. We'll see how this goes. All right, so I want my first lining piece. and I don't know if I clipped centers. Did I? No. Yes, I did. Okay, my first lining piece here. And I want to put it right sides together so my right sides are all facing in, kissing each other here. I'm going to clip that along the zipper, and then I'm going to sew that at the full seam allowance that she suggests with this skinny foot. And then I don't know, I think, yeah, so you're supposed to start at this zipper tab, not at the lining, at the zipper tab, and sew all the way across. All right, let's see if I can get that with this skinny foot. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to leave markings on my material because it seems kind of sharp, this skinny foot I have, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I got that bigger seam allowance, so that looks really good. You want to press that to the back. Now this next part, see, look at that. I don't like that. My stitches are pulling. Okay, I think it'll be okay when the bag's all put together though. Okay, so that's that. That's that. That looks good. So on this side of the material, I want to be able to fold this down, right? Yeah, I want to fold this down. So I'm going to put some tape on it. I'm not quite sure about this part of the pattern. I don't know if I'm supposed to do some stitching on each edge first or just do the whole top stitch. I'm not quite sure what she's saying, so we may have some trial and error here. All right, so I'm going to match that down to that line there. Right, yes. And then I want to do the same thing on this side. That's what this line was for right here, was that guide. Maybe, come on. Just want to fold that down to that line there. Now, with that in place, I want to clip this into my seam allowance right here. See, she has it along where the zipper tab is. You want to flip this seam allowance up. I'm wondering, and why did we push that down if we're just snipping it back up? It looks like we go right here. And then that flips back up. So you just want this part down. Okay, and you don't want to clip all the way up, just right there. And then this part flips up. That's my understanding of it. Okay, so now we want a top stitch. And our pocket, lining is going to be underneath. But we want to top stitch with that up. All right, let's see if that works. All right, that's what I have. I think that's right. These are flipped up. That's top stitched down. Okay. Next step. Let's see. Okay, so now I need the lining piece. And I want it to be, which side of the lining piece? Let me think about this. I need a lining piece. This is my front pocket, so I think it's this lining piece here without the slip pocket. And now this zipper piece, this side here with the tape, is going to go along the top of this slip pocket piece. So I've got my centers. Really hard. I clipped it and then I put tape on it, and so it kind of like sealed my center back up. All right, so let's take this off. I'm trying to make sure that all of my zippers are going to be going the same direction. So my zipper is going to be closing to this end on this panel. My zipper is closing to this end. So if that's important to you, make sure that that's all being checked. Okay, so this side of the zipper is now going to go on this lining top piece right there, and I am taping that on there along the edge. And I want to baste that on. Okay, just like that. Let's baste that. Beautiful. Now I want to take another lining right here. I'm going to put it right sides down. Okay, right sides down. And now we're going to add that to the other side here. Trying to find my, where's my zipper? Right there. Okay. You could put another strip of double-sided tape along there if you want to. I'm just clipping mine. All right. Okay, make sure everything's out of your way. I've got my D-ring flipped down. I've got my zipper panel flipped down. Now we're going to sew at that bigger seam allowance all along here. Here we go. gonna grab my zipper pull, move it down out of my way. Okay, so I have that sewn all along. I'm going to open that and kind of press my lining out really nice. So what I have now, I'm just going to show you. I've got this first pocket pretty much sewn on. Do you see that? And then that's my middle piece. Okay. So what I need to do is put some more double-sided tape along this line here. From here to here, those are my other markings. I'm gonna go like this, there. And this to there. And then you're supposed to make some small snips right along your lining, just teeny tiny ones of this top vinyl lining piece here. It's going to help that curve. Okay. All right, so now we want to bring this top curve down to that line. And curve it around there. Just like that. I'm gonna put just a couple clips so it stays in place. Okay, so that's the top edge of this lining piece. There's the front. Okay, that's the back. I'm going to do the same thing along this edge over here. Okay, just like that. Okay, so my understanding is we're gonna start about a little bit before this zipper and leave your tails long so you can pull them through and tie it together when we stitch this together. You're gonna top stitch now along this zipper and stop just a little bit after that zipper top, okay? So I'm gonna go slow. I'm gonna do my best to get this all situated. It's a lot of layers you're working with. You want your layers open and flat. And we're gonna do it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I'm leaving my tails long. And then I'm just gonna stop a little bit after all of this, okay? Okay, so that looks good. So I left my tails long on each side. I don't know if I'll do the same on the next side. We'll see how this all goes together. Okay, that's my first little zipper pocket in there. Okay, so once we have this all, you're supposed to just leave those threads alone. I'm not gonna do anything with the threads. We're not gonna pull them back yet. Now we need to close up this pocket here. Okay, so we have our zipper pocket here and we want to close it up. So I'm just going to kind of clip it evenly first, lining it all up. And she suggests starting at the bottom middle and coming up the side, and then starting the bottom middle again and coming up the other side. So we'll do that. She says that gives her the best results, so we will totally do that because I believe her. Okay. Let's do it. And I still have my skinny foot on here. I'm just going to keep it on until I do the other side because I kind of need it for the other zipper side. And we're just going to get as close to this top as we can, closing that up. That looks good. Okay, so I did that much. And now I'm going to flip it over this way and come up this way. Let's do it. Okay, and that's got your zipper pocket all closed up. That's cute. That's pretty, guys. All right, so one completed. Now what we need to do is repeat all of those steps. Hopefully I did everything right. Repeat all of those steps for the other side of the panels. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so this is the back side. So what I want to do is I want my zipper closing this way now. Because when it's flipped over and all the pieces are together, where's my other piece? Then all the zippers will be going the same way. So just make sure that that is the case, okay? So if you want all your zippers going the same way, this time it's going to be flipped over and opposite, okay? That makes sense. All right, we're just repeating the same steps. Hopefully I did them right the first time. We're going to find out, aren't we? All right, so here we go. My foot came off. All fixed. I just didn't tighten it good enough when I put it on the first time. Okay, so we are now going to put the exterior of our bag together. We've got our pockets put in there. All the zippers are going the same direction, which is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to start with this front panel. You want to make sure your linings are out of your way. And we are going to just put the base on, all right along the bottom. Nothing fancy, very simple. Clip it, sew it. Okay, I don't know, do we top stitch this? Let me look. It doesn't say that we top stitch this, so I'm guessing we don't. There, there, there. Yeah, okay. I'm not top stitching. All right, so sew this bottom layer on here, the base. Mine's wanting to slip. You see that? See how my stitches kind of slipped right there? I don't want that. Better. Okay. And then, so that's what that looks like. And now I want to attach the other side here to my base. So we're going to have one big piece when we're done. Make sure your linings are out of the way. You don't want to catch that lining and that seam allowance at all. All right, same step. Right there. My foot wants to move away. I think it's the connector and the base kind of pushing my foot out. So just make sure you're holding everything in place. There we go. I did it again after this one. Just a minute. There we go. So a couple things she wants you to do to this base. Cut right there by basically your stabilizer, but not into the seam. So I just cut through both layers like that, but not all the way up to the seam, because I want this to lay flat when I put on my side panel. Okay, and that's the whole point of just clipping right there. And we'll do that on all 4 sides. Okay, beautiful. So now what we need to do is put on our side panels, which are, all right, she says to go ahead and clip along these curves first here. I'm guessing that helps with the end assembly. Just tiny little 1/4 inch snips, nothing huge, okay? I'm gonna do that along this one too. And then I do have my stapler out for putting this piece onto my bag. I think it's a big enough curve, we kind of need it. So I'll probably be doing some stapling. Okay. Piece, we're gonna go here. Do I have my center marked? I need to mark my center on my base real quick. Okay, here we go. So right sides together. We're gonna do those centers first here. Put a couple clips. I'll probably go through and put some staples in too. This out a little bit. Okay, and then I want to go, I wonder if I want to go up to here or not. Let's see. I think that's what I'm matching up here. Does that make sense? I think so. Okay. Like that. And I'm just doing these exterior pieces here. It's gonna be kind of annoying with your lining popping in all the time, but just keep pushing it out of the way. Okay. So you kind of want to lay this seam flat here. Okay. It fits in pretty nicely. definitely see why staples are going to be useful here. I can feel this going to be slipping quite a bit. So I'm just putting staples. Holding all the layers in place. You don't want to go far into your seam allowance, okay? You want to stay within that 1/4 of an inch in with those staples. You see that? I'm gonna go ahead and sew this up. I'm gonna put a couple more staples over on this side though. A little bit more at the curve. Okay, that's what I'm looking at. I'm gonna sew this on. Okay, I'm gonna try this on my cylinder arm. It might just be a little easier. So let's try it out. And you know, I'm not sure which way to go at this. I don't know if it's better to come, because I know on my machine, it's easier to sew it with this up. I'm going to try coming from the other side because that seemed like coming down here was going to be a little difficult. So let's try it coming at it from the other side. Definitely think that was the better way to go. Okay. Let's see. It looks good. Looks really good. Okay, so she suggests doing a second layer of stitching to just help stabilize. So I'm going to sew another little row right next to that first row, just to give it some support. Hold threads. All right. So I'm just doing it right next to that first row. Okay, it looks pretty good, guys. I think it worked. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go and pull out those staples. You definitely do not want to leave those staples there. I'll see if I need to trim down my seam allowance at all, and then we'll clip the next side on to our bag. Okay, so I've got that one all sewn on. I had a pucker in it right here that I didn't see. It got caught right there. I unpicked it. I did the best I could to try and fix it, but my vinyl is torn the tiniest bit down there. So that stinks, but I'm going to continue because it's okay. It's okay. It happens. I am still on a learning curve with this machine, and I sometimes don't know where to look for all the spots that could be an issue. So anyways, we're going to persevere and keep going. All right. So I trimmed down my seam allowance down around here. I cut into my seam right here because I'm pretty sure this needs to lay flat in the end. That's why she has you do that. So I just cut right there in my seam, both sides, not to my stitches, but before my stitches, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing we did on the other side. I'm gonna add the other side of my panel here. Same process, clip, staple, all that kind of good stuff. And we'll continue after that. Let's go for it. I also think this time I'm going to put a couple snips into my body right here of the bag to help with that curve. I didn't do it on the last one. It fit okay, but I'm wondering if that was part of the reason I had an issue with the puckering. I think it might lay better if I have it clipped. So we're going to try that. So I'm just going to take it and do some staples. I think that's on there nice. Looks good. I'm going to go ahead and sew that up. We're going to try the cylinder arm again. And I'll just have to watch out for these two bottom areas this time, now that I know. And hopefully it'll go smooth. All right, let's do it. Got it. No puckers. Okay, I'm going to go around again. Just right beside that first one. Okay, there we go. Second side's all done. I'm going to just trim down around here, take out the staples, and then do my 2 little cuts right there. And then we'll go to the next step. Okay, here's what we're looking at right now. Got my side panels on. I went ahead and pulled my threads through and tied them to the back here. I didn't do that earlier. We need to close up the sides of our lining. So we're gonna pull those together and you just sew all the way down each side. So I wanna make sure that my seams are lining up right here. Okay, I'm gonna close that up right there and right here. Right, all the way to the top, yes, and all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and just clip both sides of the lining and sew them both up. Here's this one. Tuck in those zipper tails. We don't want those in our way. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sew that up at my seam allowance, all the way top down to the bottom. Okay, so you want to give this little clip so your seam lays flat, right? Yep. I'm just gonna go zoop. Okay, because you want that seam to open and lay flat. Looks good. I'm not really gonna like iron this or anything because again, it's just that bonded nylon. I'm just gonna leave it. So I think the next step is we fold down these sides, right? So along here, we have this line right here. I'm gonna change cameras just a minute. We have this line drawn on our side panel. I need to trim these threads. I can't with these threads, guys. We're gonna place some double-sided tape along that line on both sides. We're gonna fold it down, and this part's kind of a drop-in lining for the bag. It's just you're sewing along here for that. So let's go ahead and figure that out. It's really hard to get this to be in a position where I can get the tape on it. Sorry for the barking dogs. Kids are home. Dogs are barking. Okay. Got that tape on right there. I'm going to take that tape off. Am I supposed to push this down in there yet? No. All right. So I'm going to fold this down to that line. Just like that, right? That has to flatten out, and that folds down. Okay, so I've got that folded down right there. Do you see that? So I'm going to do that on the other side over here, same thing. And then we'll put the two layers together and we're going to sew them up along that side. Because if you remember, our other side is already folded down from our previous stitching. So let me put some more tape on this side and fold it down. There's no good way to set this bag to put this tape on. All right. Corners are kind of funky. You got to lay that seam out and then fold them down. There we go. Okay, those are folded. Carefully turn your bag right side out. Tuck the lining inside your bag. Okie dokie. Right side out. Here we go, guys. Looks pretty good. Hey, not bad. See, I have one tiny rip right there. I don't know if you can see it. It's not horrible. It's just from me accidentally catching it in the under my needle. But the rest looks great. Okay, I'm gonna tuck that in. So now our bag's like completely together and we need to sew up these two sides here. Like the lighting kind of sucks right now. Maybe it's fine. Okay, so we want to put these two layers together. We want to flatten those seams. And we are going to put it all in. I'm guessing you want your tab to kind of poke up a little bit, like that. And you want to be able to pinch the tab, I would think, like that. Yeah. My stitching is not all going to line up. I did it just a little wrong, all this top stitching. That's okay. That's okay. Preferably you want this stitching and this stitching to end in the same place, and mine are different. Somehow I did that incorrectly, but I'm okay with it. All right, so I'm going to clip this side as well. You know, this is my first one, so there's always a learning curve with your first bag, huh? Other than that, it's lining up really nicely. Other than my stitching being off, it's doing really good. Okay, so my vinyl's kind of got some wrinkles in it. That's okay. I forget where I got this vinyl. I think it's the vinyl. I've got some like rips right up here where the stitching is. And right there, That doesn't normally happen, so I'm just gonna have to be fine with that. That's okay. All right, so now I need to just sew from here to here to sew these 2 layers together and these 2 layers together. And ideally, you would start and stop at your previous stitch line perfectly. Mine does not line up perfectly, but I think it's gonna look fine. And then after that, we're going to close up our lining and attach our handles, and then we'll be done. I mean, she's pretty cute. She's pretty cute. Okay, let's do it. Okay, back at the cylinder, I'm going to just top stitch this 2 edges. I'm going to try and start where my stitches ended right there. Ooh, I should probably get something to cover my foot. Let me grab that. And I'll probably just back stitch because at this point my stitching doesn't line up, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah, so here we go. I definitely need to cover some of this material in the back here. Okay, I'm going to start right on there, and I'll be putting this under my foot. I'm grabbing my threads, maybe. Okay. Hey, that looks pretty good. Just don't look on the inside. That lined up pretty dang good. Okay. This lined up really nicely. This one's just a little off, but I'm okay with that. And the inside looks pretty decent. All right, so there's one side. Let's go to the other one. We're doing good, guys, doing good. All right. There needs to be some kind of like thing invented that holds your threads right here while you're putting all your stuff in under the machine so they're easy to grab. If one of you tells me there's something like that already, I would be so happy. All right, right here is where I want to start. I'm going to protect the back of my material here. From that foot, it tends to want to eat my material. All right. Uh-oh. I don't think I held it enough. Hopefully we're okay. Okay. All right. You know what? For my first time making this bag, I think it looks pretty good, you guys. All right, and that's supposed to clip in like that. And this clip in right here. Hey. Hey. That's pretty cute. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my other machine and we'll finish. Actually, I should just do it right here. Let's just finish the lining up. Finish the lining up and then attach our handles. All right, so what we're going to do now is pull our, I've got clips on it, pull our slip pocket out, and then we're gonna pull our lining through the slip pocket. Okay, so you're gonna grab your hand in there, grab your lining, and you're gonna pull the lining through here. And you're going to just completely close up your lining. And then we'll close up our slip pocket, okay? And it's just a boxed bottom, super easy. Just clip it all up, sew it at your seam allowance. And then we'll be almost done, you guys. So exciting. This is such a different setup than I'm used to over here. I need a clip thing on this side. I can't do it the other way. It's driving me crazy. I need to make this more functionable. Somebody told me that's not a word, and I looked it up in the dictionary, and it is. I need it more functionable. Okay. I'm going to sew this on. Let's do it. All right, and then so for this, you just box your corners here. Okay. You can nest your seams, you can lay them flat. I'm just gonna nest mine this time. Okay. That's all sewn up. So now we just need to sew up this pocket. I'm guessing if we weren't using this silky bonded nylon, that would have stayed a little bit better folded. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's just the inside of a pocket, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay. Looks good. All right. Let's see. We got our zipper pull, our end cap, and our handles, and then we're done. Okay, so let's put on our zipper pull here. Make sure that lines up. That looks pretty good. All of my zippers line up. They all end up at the same spot, which is what I wanted. I'm very happy about that. Okay, now this is a super long tail, but I'm guessing if you want it all the way open, it kind of needs probably not that much. I'm going to trim it down just a touch. Just a little bit. I don't know if I want it that long. Okay. Okay. All I do, fold it in, slip this on top. Make sure it's in there, nice and snug. Looks good. And then get your little baby screw. Okay, super cute. All right, the only thing left to do, I'm just gonna clip them on so we can kind of see what we're looking at here. And then, you know, I didn't make a crossbody strap, but I probably will. Probably just a skinny 3/4 inch one. I think that would look cute with it. Oh, so cute. Look at that, guys. Ta-da! Ta-da! All right. Okay, guys, we're all done. Here is our fabulous Rowena. I think it turned out amazing. I'm super, super happy with it. This was my first go around, so this isn't perfect, but that's okay. We learned. My second one will be so much better. I'm sure of it. But I do love this bag, this design. Amazing. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. It would mean so much to me. Let me know if you have any comments or questions down below. In the description should be all the links that you need to find everything. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.